Welcome back to part 2 of reading from Horns of the Goddess by Dolores Cannon. In part 1, we learned a little bit about this ancient Druid initiation ceremony that these female Druids would do on the secret island. And in part 2, we're going to learn about how they would channel energy to use for healing. And then the session takes a really fascinating turn, so stick around because you are going to love this. Picking back up, and Dolores is asking this client about how they use this energy that they are channeling. And the client explained how they use it in the ceremony, but then the conversation turns to how this can be used for healing as well. So Dolores says, when you use this energy this way, can it help you to heal people by focusing it out? Yes. Is that the only way it can be done? Just be calm and to breathe slowly and focus it? Okay. It is one of the ways, yes. Dolores, one of the ways. Is this the easiest way? Yes. We are asking because we hope to learn and want to do this for good. What is the other method? Can you do it by yourself, or does it have to be done with other people? Okay. It may be done by one's own. Dolores, can you tell me what that method is? Okay. No. And then Dolores says, I would have to settle for what we had and not press our luck. Dolores, okay. But this method is the easiest one to learn. You would always have to use this energy for good, wouldn't you? Yes. Now, if you generate this energy and focus it out, do you touch the person or place your hands over the person? Okay. Usually you just place them over the person and feel the energy that surrounds them. Everyone has energy that comes into their body that is surrounding them, and you place it upon this. She's probably referring to like a person's auric field. Dolores, then you have to place it over the part where they are ill, or just over their head, or what? Okay, sometimes over the part that is ill, sometimes just all over the whole body. And putting energy into the whole body, because usually it's not just one point in a person that's having problems, but the whole body suffers. Dolores, so you would have to move your hands over the whole body? Yes. Unless there was a spot where they said they hurt? Okay. Then you could perhaps put more energy into that area, but you would also need to go over most of the body. Dolores, if you're putting your hands like that, can you tell if someone's hurting in a certain area without them saying so? Okay. Yes, you can feel the pain through yourself. Dolores, does this bother you? Sometimes, yes. How can you get rid of that so it won't bother you? Then you create a focus again, directing it inward rather than outward. Then it should go away. And then Harriet, who is another practitioner who's there, asks, in your training, do you have any way of recognizing others that have been trained as you've been trained, even though they've not been trained with you? Others of like beliefs? Okay, give me your hand. Harriet gave Karen her hand. Karen held it in both of hers and concentrated. Okay, I see a temple of light. There are many, many people there who are studying and learning. It seems like a long time ago. It is the study for good and for healing. I see the using of different vibrations. They think of this in terms of colors, but they're the vibrations that I use. They're into generating self-healing, and that all healing must come from within. Karen dropped Harriet's hand and took a deep breath. Harriet, will this be carried on from generation to generation? Okay. You must open the channel. The ability is there. You must learn to open yourself to what you've learned and focusing your energy and bringing it and drawing on it to use for others. Harriet, but the gift is never lost once you have it? Okay, no. Once it's learned, it is always there. It must perhaps be uncovered. Dolores, brought back again? Okay, yes. Or perhaps there are so many things, so much different experiences that have covered it over, that it must be brought to the surface. But it is always there. And then Dolores writes, I couldn't resist the opportunity. I asked, "Could you take my hand and see if you can see anything?" Karen took my hand in the same manner, holding it between hers and concentrating. "I see a very patient person. You have great curiosity. You love knowledge for knowledge's sake. I see a large open building with many, many books." She then suddenly shuddered and threw my hand away abruptly. Dolores, "Oh, what's wrong? Was it something you didn't like?" No answer. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you." Kay, "You must search for knowledge because of those who destroyed that which you felt was yours." Dolores, "Someone destroyed my knowledge or what?" Kay, "The knowledge that you protected. Therefore, you feel you must search for the knowledge that has been lost." Dolores, "But did you see something that was disturbing? Is that why it bothered you?" Kay, "I saw fire." Dolores, "Oh, I see. Well, I don't want to disturb you. You think this is why I'm so interested in these things?" Kay, "Yes, it has a great deal to do with that and the search for what you feel you've lost and you wish to gain again." And so this is really interesting. Dolores has spoken many times in her lectures when asked about her own past lives, about the life in Alexandria at the library when it was burned. To the best of my recollection, she was one of the people who cared for the scrolls that were kept in the library. She was not one who would write on them or study them, but was one who would retrieve the scrolls when requested by a scholar or a professor. It was her job to protect them. When the Romans caused the fire that burned the library, Dolores, as the person from that time, tried to save as many scrolls as possible. And in doing so, she was killed and she was not able to complete her mission. Dolores has stated that because of this, she feels she is now trying to get back the knowledge that was lost. Many people ask, "Do you have to rewrite the whole library?" While in Russia, Dolores had a session with a young man who was also in Alexandria at the time of the burning. He was one of the scholars who studied the scrolls, and he was there when the burning started. He also tried to save as many scrolls as he could, but was killed by a falling beam that struck him across the shoulders. I don't know if Dolores ever found anyone else that was there during this time, but to just find one was astonishing. Isn't it fascinating that although this client had no idea about any of Dolores' past lives and was not any type of psychic medium or channel or anything in her current lifetime, while she was under hypnosis in the life of this druid, she was able to use the same gifts, the same psychic ability gifts that ancient life that she had in that ancient life, and tell Dolores all about one of her past lives. Like, how fascinating is that? And that's one of the things that I love so much about past life regressions, is because, as this client said, the knowledge is always there from lifetimes ago. And if you had a lifetime as a channel, a healer, a mystic, a druid, any type of life where you had these incredible spiritual gifts, and you don't know that you do in this current life, that doesn't mean that you don't. It just means that you have consciously forgotten about these gifts, and you can actually uncover them through having a past life regression soul journey session. I have seen this firsthand happen with many of my clients, and it is so fascinating and it blows my mind every single time.